Hello everybody and welcome back. This video we're going to focus on graphing quadratics from standard form. We're going to look at things like vertex, the axis of symmetry, x-intercepts, and y-intercepts, and we'll show you the method for finding all of those. We're also going to use Desmos to see the end result. Here's a Desmos graph. You can get Desmos, desmos.com/calculator. Easy way to graph. I have all of our equations we're going to use here. We're just going to look at them one at a time. As you can see, I can turn them on and off as we need to. So let's go in order. Let's look at these examples. Alright, we're going to find the vertex of f of x equals x squared minus 2x plus 1. To find the vertex, the x-coordinate of the vertex. Now remember, the vertex is the highest or lowest point of a quadratic. The graph of a quadratic is called a parabola. The x-coordinate has that formula, negative b over 2a. The y-coordinate has this formula, f of negative b over 2a. And what that means is once you find the x-coordinate, plug it back in for x into the function to find the y-coordinate. So for this problem, negative b over 2a, negative b would be positive 2. So you notice a is 1, b is negative 2, c is 1. 2 times a would be 2 times 1, and then we just have 2 over 2, and the x-coordinate is 1. Now it is worth pointing out, this x equals 1 is also called the axis of symmetry. It is where the parabola would fold in half. It splits the parabola, the graph of the quadratic, in half. Axis of symmetry, and the axis of symmetry is the vertical line that happens to be the same as the x-coordinate of the vertex. Now, to find the y-coordinate, we're going to take 1 and plug it into the function. So we get 1 squared minus 2 plus 1, and that's 1 minus 2 plus 1. Negative 1 plus 1, and I get 0. The coordinates of the vertex are 1, 0. 1, 0. Alright, let's look at Desmos for this function, x squared minus 2x plus 1. I'm going to highlight that. Notice we just typed it in, do the exponent too, it's real easy to type in. Look how this function looks. Look at the vertex. I'm going to click on it. Look at it, 1, 0, there we are. Now, I'm also going to click here, x equals 1, that's the vertical line, that's the axis of symmetry. Notice how in the purple line here, it would fold that graph in half exactly. And it also intersects the vertex right there at 1, 0. Alright, let's turn those off and go to another example. We'll do a couple things on this. We're going to find the vertex and the x-intercept. Start out with our vertex, x equals negative b over 2a. That would be positive 2, because negative of a negative is positive. 2 times negative 1. 2 over negative 2. Negative 1. Negative 1 is the x-coordinate of the vertex. The y-coordinate can be found by taking that negative 1 and going back in. So we get negative 1 minus 2 times negative 1 plus 3, negative 1 plus 2 plus 3, we get 1 plus 3, and then finally 4. Okay, so our vertex is the coordinates negative 1, 4. We'll see that a little bit here on the graph. To find the x-coordinate, the x-intercepts, we set the function equal to 0, x squared minus 2x plus 3 equals 0. Now, we can solve this by factoring. We can first factor out a negative 1, making the problem a little bit easier for us. And then we can ask what factors of negative 3 add up to positive 2. Well, that would be x plus 3 and x minus 1. Notice the minus 1 times 3 is negative 3, and minus 1 plus 3 is positive 2. Solving for x, we get x equals 1 or x equals -3. Okay, so the coordinates of those x-intercepts, the y-coordinate's always 0. Because look, this was sort of like y. Setting it equal to 0 is like allowing for the y-intercept. The two x-intercepts, 1, 0, -3, 0. Alright, now let's look at this on Desmos. There's our function, -x² minus 2x plus 3. Notice how it opens down. Here's our axis of symmetry. Alright, now the vertex, remember what we said? -1, 4. If we click on it, we look at right there. Let's go to the x-intercepts. Here they are, 1, 0, -3, 0, just like we computed. So that's how the graph looks of that number 2. Alright, moving on. Example 3. I'm going to find the vertex, and it's also helpful if we find the axis of symmetry, just to point that out. Start out with the x-coordinate of the vertex, -b over 2a. A is 2, b is -8, c is 3. So this would be -8 over 2 times 2, +8 over 4, and it simplifies to 2. Now that we know the x-coordinate, let's find the y-coordinate. 2 times 2 squared minus 8 times 2 plus 3. 2 squared is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 minus 16 is -8, -8 plus 3, -5. So our vertex is, V for vertex, 2, comma, -5. Now notice the axis of symmetry, AOS for axis of symmetry. It's simply the vertical line x equals 2. It's always the x-coordinate of the vertex. Let's look at the graph. Down here, 2x minus 8 plus 3, we see it. We can shift it here so we can see better. X equals 2, there's our axis of symmetry. It folds the graph in half. And down here is our vertex. If I click on it, 2, -5, just like that. Okay, let's look at number 4. Find the vertex of x² plus 4x plus 4. Now, this looks a little bit different. A is 1, B is 4, but we don't see a C. Well, it's there, it's just 0. Alright, the x-coordinate, -b over 2a, -4 over 2 times 1, -4 over 2. Simplifies to -2. Let's plug that into the function. F of -2, we get -2 squared plus 4 times -2. That gives us 4 minus 8. That gives us -8. Okay, our V for vertex, -2, comma, -8. With the axis of symmetry, simply x equals -2. Alright, let's look at Desmos. Down here, here's our function, x² plus 4x. There it is. X equals -2. There's our axis of symmetry. Let's click on the vertex. -2, comma, -4. -2, comma, -4, just like we said it would be. We got messed up here. It's not -4, it's -8. We messed up. I messed up here. 4 minus 8. Everybody see my mistake? Mistake right here. 4 minus 8 is a -4. So this should be a -4. Let's write our vertex right. -2, comma, -4. So good thing I checked on the graph. Another reason to use Desmos. You can check your work to make sure you're doing it right. All right, let's look at another example. Number 5. Find the vertex of -x² minus 4. Now, notice the A here, the A number, -1. That's our A, and it's negative. Whenever it's negative, it opens down. We don't have a B term, so the B term is 0, and the C term here is 4. Okay, so let's find the vertex. X equals negative b over 2a. Well, I don't have a b, it's 0, so I just say 0 over 2 times negative 1. It's going to be 0 regardless. And then to find the y-coordinate, f of 0, 0 squared plus 4, I just get 4. Looks like our vertex is 0, comma 4. And the axis of symmetry, x equals 0. Let's look at that on Desmos. Down here, negative x squared minus plus 4. Remember I said it opened down, and it certainly does. It opens downward. X equals 0 is the axis of symmetry, right in line with the y-axis. That's where it folds in half. Let's look at our vertex here, 0, comma 4. We got it. All right, moving on. Okay, several things to do here. Number 6, we're going to look at the axis symmetry and x and y intercepts. All right. So our axis of symmetry, remember that's just x equals negative b over 2a. So negative 6 all over 2, positive 6 over 2, that's 3. So axis of symmetry, x equals 3. Let's remember that, axis of symmetry. X-intercepts, set the function equal to 0. That will tell you x-intercept. I can factor this, factors of 8 that add up to 6, negative 6. That would be x minus 2 and x minus 4. Still equal to 0. The values that make that 0 are x equals 2 and 4. The x-intercepts then are 2, 0, 4, 0. Remember, the x-intercepts always have a 0 for a y coordinate. Now, to find the y-intercept, y-intercept is really easy. All you need to do is put a 0 in for x. So f of 0, 0 squared minus 6 times 0 plus 8, we're going to get 8. Y-intercept, 0, 8. Let's look over in Desmos and find all of those items. There's x squared minus 6x plus 8. Here's our axis of symmetry, x equals 3. All right, let's find our x-intercepts, 2, 0, 4, 0. Y-intercept, we have to look up here to find it, 0, 8, just like we found. There we go. All right, couple more here. Let's see if I can move these down here. All right, find the axis of symmetry and the x-intercepts. Of x squared plus 2x minus 5, axis of symmetry, x equals negative b over 2a, which is 2 times 1. Negative 2 over 2 is just negative 1. There's our axis of symmetry. X-intercepts at that function equal to 0, x squared plus 2x minus 5 equal to 0. All right, I think we're just going to find, you know what, that doesn't factor, so we're going to find, let's change that. Let's find the y-intercept. Y-intercept. To find the y-intercepts, all we need to do, put a 0 in for x. Yeah, we can do that. That's easier. 0 squared plus 2 times 0, 0 minus 5. Our y-intercept is 0, 5, negative 5. All right, let's have a look at that on Desmos. Uncheck these. Here's our next graph. X squared plus 2x minus 5. Axis of symmetry, x equals 1. See where that crosses the y-axis for the y-intercept, 0, negative 5. We see it right there. All right, and then our last one. X squared minus 2x plus 3. And x equals negative b over 2a. Plug that in. And then you can check yourself on Desmos. Let's have a look at that last one. X squared minus 2x plus 3. Looks like we get an axis of symmetry of x equals negative 1. There are no x-intercepts. Notice it doesn't cross the x-axis. So there you go. Quadratics and graphing.